Hello traders and welcome to a market update today on the 18th of April 2019. This is Tunapan here, founder of Master the Markets, Elite Trades Conference and the Traders Open Day. So here we are today, and as we usually do our market update, we will cover the topic first and then we'll go through our performance. And if there's time, I'll see whether I can do some practical application of the topic as well onto the markets. Now, the topic I have for today is how long do you hold your trades for? Okay, so it's a three-part basis, okay, that we can look at. Now, let me just answer that for you guys then. So the question is, how long do you hold your trades? Okay, how do you do that? So it's based on a three-step process, traders. The first thing I would say to determine how long you would hold your trades for, the first thing would be the distance it has ran. Okay, the distance it's ran. Now, the distance it's ran or distance it's left. Okay, distance left to run. That can also be equated into what we call over here open equity. Open equity is a very institutional terminology that is not usually used in the retail sector, but it's so critical that you must understand this. Now, what is this open equity then? For example, you see, as I've spoken in my numerous videos before, the whole market movement can be compressed into a bottom to top or a top to bottom move, right? So in terms of that, you can then measure how much distance is left for it to run before it will start to turn. So for example, if you got something like this and we're here at the moment, if you know on an average something moves, let's say in terms of currencies is 600 pips, and then you know there's still a gap of movement to be made. And if you have only made about 300 pips at the moment, right? So there's a lot of open equity still left, traders. Okay. So in that sense, that's the first thing you need to note in terms of holding your trade is how much distance is left in terms for holding the trade, and you can then set your targets based on those open equity numbers. Now, the second thing that you can then look to into traders is basically time, okay, a time-based result. Now, the time-based result over here, of course, can be the number of days. If you're trading on daily time frame, or weekly can be weekly, or if hourly can be hourly bars. So that's the thing you got to look at in terms of answering the holding question. How long do you hold your trades for? So distance and time. So for example, the very powerful one actually is when you combine this both of this. Before I coming to combine that, I will just tell you based on time. So for example, if you find out the average number of days that a movement takes before it turns, let's say you find out that it's 10 days. After 10 days, then you can start to look to exit the trade or get aggressive on your stop loss. So that is time. Okay, that's two out of the three things you need to consider for holding your trade. Now, however, as I mentioned, if you combine them together, it becomes very powerful. If you do know that, let's say if it runs, let's say 600 pips, and you know the average is it must run at 600 pips within 7 days. And if you do know that, and then if it's taking 10 days to reach even 600 pips, you know that you can start to get aggressive on your stop. It's a slow runner, is it not? It's not on the momentum pace, as we may say. Then the last thing then, traders, once we've covered distance and time, then the last thing would be then to look for distribution bars. Right, distribution bars. Now, distribution bars are anything like this. So very large, oversized range bars. Anything more than 1.5 ATR range or 2 ATR range. Once you get things like that, you know it's about time to exit it. You can exit it on the close, so you can either exit it on aggressive stop as well. Okay, so these are the things that you can look at. Look at that. There's another distribution bar over here, is it not? Okay, so based on that distance, time, and distribution bars, then you can determine how long you want to hold your trade for. Let's look at some examples very quickly. So if you take a look at a dollar Swiss, you can see that the distance is traveled is quite a bit now, right? If I want to quantify that, I can take a look at this ATR here, 34 pips. 34 and 244, isn't it? So it's about a little bit more than 6 ATR. And I know in our open equity research, only 30% of swing moves actually get to 6 ATR. So this is one of them. So open equity is diminishing over here. Now, the next thing is then time. Look at the number of days it's taken, right? We can just use our cursor here very easily. I can take a look at the next thing, which is basically how long has it taken? It's 25 days, isn't it? So it's about 25 days. It's quite taken a very long time to get here, is it not? So in terms of that as well, it's slowing down as well. So in terms of these things, you can start to get aggressive in your stop. But however, what's missing over here, traders, is your distribution bar, you see. So that will give me a rough gauge to hold on to this trade rather than exiting it at the moment. Okay, so let's take a look at another one. Oil, you see, oil is another one here. Ah, look, this one is a very good one here, right? See, open equity is so large over here that it maintained true. But however, look at this one here. In terms of this over here, as you can see, it's just started its top to bottom move. Confirmation bar is here according to our smart money indicator, which I've talked about as well. But in terms of that, there's a large open equity left, is it not, traders, in terms of your reversal move and the counter trend move? And then in terms of that as well, there's no distribution bars yet. Time is still okay. It's still got a lot of time still to go. So that's a take. You can still take this on a short. So that's how you can look at it. I mean, you can apply this in any market. Let's take a look at gold as well. Gold, you can see at the moment, what do you have? Open equity, okay, moderate, not really that great. Okay, and in terms of time, okay, yeah, not that much time has gone by. And in terms of distribution bars, not really anything. Maybe this one a little bit, giving you some signs that it could reverse quite soon. So anyway, so that's what you can do. I mean, even if you look at Bitcoin as well, you can look at Bitcoin. Look at that, open equity is very, very large over here, traders. In terms of number of days, yes, it's achieved that. In terms of distribution bars, yeah, this is quite obvious, isn't it? There's a big distribution bar over there. So it could be that it's time for it to turn at the moment. So yeah, these are things that you can look at into determining how long do you want to hold your trade and whether you want to exit or whether you want to get aggressive on your stop or conservative on your stop as well. Okay, I guess that's pretty much that for me on the topic. So do go and do your own homework on that. In terms of our performance for this month so far, so let me just share with you guys how well we have done. You can see that in terms of the elite room, what we do have at the moment, actually counting for last week and this week because we couldn't do it because we were away, so I will cover for both. In terms of smart money, you can see that this was a trade that we took in the last 2 weeks, so that was about minus 0.71% that you can see over there. Prime profits, however, we did take quite a little bit of hit over there, minus 2% over there, which we did take between the 2 weeks. It's not been performing that very well, but it is catching up, so we'll see how it all carries on to be. Then in terms of gold bars, what do we have then, traders? 0.73%. We had a small profit over there. So overall, when we do take a look at all of that together, what we do have over here is minus 0.71, minus 2, and plus 0.73. So when we total all of that up together, we got minus 1.98% in terms of the elite room. In terms of number of pips, actually, we've got minus 42 pips. Okay, so that's what we got at the moment. Okay, in terms of the elite room. Now, taking a look in terms of the live trading room. So here we got in terms of money bars. Money bars is the only one that we had trades for. In terms of the for the last 2 weeks, we had 2% profit from 8th of April to 19th of April. So when we actually add that all up together, so what do we have actually? So let me just put that in together over here. So let me see then. So we got plus 2% on money bars. And in terms of the LTR room, so that would be plus 2% because we didn't take any other trades on the other strategies. In terms of the elite room is minus 1.98, so very small tiny profit of 0.02% on the system curve. Now in terms of pips, that would be minus 42 on the elite room, plus a 50 pips on the live trading room in terms of money bars, gives us 8 pips. So that's our summary performance over there. 0.02% of profit over there, and then in terms of pips, just a 8 pips, small 8 pips profit. Okay, I guess that's pretty much that from me in terms of this market update. And as we always say, till the next time, stay disciplined, follow your trading plan, and keep trading like a master.